Hi guys, welcome to my affordable watch collection. My name is Aviv, and today we'll be taking a look at a new, sportier iteration of a chronograph watch that was featured on this channel a couple of years ago, the Chestor, coming from Dutch microbrand Vescari. Based in the Netherlands and established in 2016, Vescari was the first brand that believed in me and sent me a watch for review in the early days of the channel. It was an earlier, double-register version of the Chestor, and just like that one, the one I have here today does not have to go back to the company once I'm done making my review. As appreciative as I am, that doesn't mean I'm going to hold back on my criticism of this watch. I am going to point out the things I think could have been done differently, together with the things I like about it. Two colorways are available with this Vescari release, and besides this reversed Panda option, a classic silver Panda dial is also available. Each one is limited to 250 pieces only. Since I last reviewed the Chestor, the price has actually come down. One of the things I complained about in the con section of that review was the price of $250. After even improving the watch, Vescari went ahead and took the price of this limited edition Chestor down to $199. I do have a discount code for you guys. If you punch in the code MAWC20, you'll receive a 20% discount off anything in your shopping cart. One of the things that were improved is the packaging. Inside of this branded watch box, you'll find the watch rested on a cushion and a little compartment that holds a good quality microfiber cleaning cloth, a 2-year warranty card, and an extra suede leather strap. A really nice one with double stitching on top and quick release spring bars on the back. You also get one of these blue tools for resizing the bracelet, which I would show you, but I have no idea where I put it. The measurements are as follows. The width of the case is 40 mm, its thickness is 14 mm including the protruding crystal, the distance between the lugs is 20 mm, and the bracelet tapers down to 18 at the hidden clasp. Lug tip to lug tip is 48 mm, and sized up for my 7-inch wrist with 3 links removed, the watch weighs 133 grams. Water resistance is 100 meters, just the number you want to see on a sports watch. The main portion of the dial is a really deep shade of blue. It also has a subtle sunburst effect, which adds a lot of interest to everything that is going on this dial. Starting with a silver-colored rehaut ring with a tachymeter scale printed on it, and a nice set of applied and highly polished indices after that. Large Arabic 12 marks the 12 o'clock position, and stick indices with a bit of loom at their tips mark all other hours, or at least the ones not given their place for the 3 subdials. The silver-colored subdials are positioned on a layer below the dial. Each one has a record-like concentric lines pattern that produces a distinct sunburst effect. The subdial at the 3 o'clock position is a 24 hours indicator. The one at the 6 o'clock is the watch's run-in seconds complication, and on the 9 o'clock position we find a 60 minutes counter for the chronograph. The hour and minute hands are thin pencil-shaped, highly polished and faceted, with a thin strip of loom on their centers. The main chronograph seconds hand is highly polished as well, and needle-shaped. The small subdial hands are painted black, providing nice contrast against the subdials themselves. The loom is nothing too crazy, as to be expected of a chronograph, but it is BGW9 Superluminova. It emits the familiar icy blue glow, but don't expect too much of it. It should give you a clear view of the time at first, but it won't last for a whole lot of time. The crystal Vescari put on this watch is a very nice, tall and double-domed K1 mineral glass. A mineral crystal is not ideal, especially when it's protruding quite a bit above the watch. With that said, while it's not as scratch-resistant as sapphire crystal, K1 is probably the next best thing, and Vescari went ahead and coated it with a layer of sapphire for extra hardness. They also coated it with blue-tinted anti-reflective coating to help with legibility. I'm usually not a big fan of that blue tint, but with a blue dial, I'm not really bothered by it. The case is made of 316L stainless steel. Just like the previous one, it is treated to a mixture of brushed and polished finishes, both done very well. The tops of the lugs and the sides of the case are very finely brushed, while the fixed double-beveled bezel and the chamfered edges are highly polished. Getting this level of finishing at this price range is pretty remarkable. Looking at the side profile, we see that the lugs curve down beautifully all the way below the case, and that is going to make the watch conform to your wrist very well. On the 3 o'clock position, we find a simple push-pull crown with a nice and deep engraving of Vescari's V logo. 2 piston-style pushers control the chronograph. The top one at the 2 o'clock position engages the chronograph and starts and stops that mechanical sweep of the seconds hand. And the bottom pusher at the 4 o'clock position snaps it back to its place at the 12 o'clock position. The case back is made of solid stainless steel too. It screws down into place and features radial brushing. It has the brand's name engraved in the middle and some of the watch's information engraved in a circle around the decorative ring. A Seiko VK63 Mecha Quartz chronograph movement powers this watch. This is a reliable hybrid movement that combines the best of 2 worlds. You get the accuracy of a quartz movement and that smooth sweep of the chronograph's seconds hand like on a mechanical movement. It runs on a battery that should give you up to 3 years of use before dying out, depending on how heavily you use the chronograph. The Chestor comes on a thick oyster-style bracelet. It's really nice and is finished just as well as the case, with brushed outer links and polished middle links. These are solid stainless steel links held together with split push pins, and the end links are solid as well, featuring protruding male middle links that bring the effective overall length of the watch up to 53 mm. This might be a startling number, but they do curve down significantly. We'll see how it makes the watch wear in just a moment. The bracelet is fitted with a milled and hidden butterfly deployment clasp. It does look very elegant, but lacks any option of micro adjustment. It closes with friction only, but does feel very secure. Despite having no micro adjustment, I did manage to get a good fit on my 7-inch wrist. That doesn't mean you would too on your wrist, and that's definitely something to keep in mind. Also, despite having those male end links, the watch doesn't overhang off my wrist either. And that's especially thanks to the well-designed slope of both the lugs and those end links. Overall, it's a very comfortable watch to wear. Nicely sized and proportioned, with great wrist presence. Legibility is okay, definitely better than the last Chestor I reviewed. You don't expect the chronograph to be all that legible, but this one does a good job allowing you to get a fairly easy read of the time. Here it is on Vescari's suede leather strap. Still looks pretty nice, and it too is quite comfortable, but I think this watch works better on the bracelet. Now for the pros and cons. Cons first. The only 2 downfalls I can think about come from the bracelet. It's a very good bracelet, but I personally always prefer the end links to have female middle links that provide better articulation. And though it is nice to have that clean look of a hidden clasp, the lack of any micro adjustment means that whether or not you're going to get a good fit on your wrist is a gamble, and that's never a good thing. Moving over to the pros, this watch presents exceptional finishing for the price. They really did a fine job with the craftsmanship of both the case and the bracelet. The size is great too, and it has loads of wrist presence. The crystal is beautiful, and thanks to that added sapphire coating, I'm not going to complain about it being a mineral one. I think that's a fair compromise for the price. The 100 meters of water resistance is very reassuring, and means you can take the watch with you wherever you want to go and whatever you want to do. The Seiko Mecha Quartz movement inside is a great upgrade, and besides an occasional battery change, should last you for years. In many ways, the new Chestor is similar to the old one. The case's shape and its beautiful finishing, the bracelet and the design language, but in many aspects it is also better than it, much improved. It's sportier, the dial has more depth to it, The crystal is less reflective, the water resistance has doubled from 50 to 100 meters, and the movement was upgraded from a sweeping seconds Miyota quartz to a mechanically sweeping Seiko Mecha quartz. But probably the biggest improvement is the price dropping down. I think that for the asking price, this watch offers a lot of value, giving a fair fight to much more expensive watches and even to some Chinese spec monsters coming from AliExpress, with the added benefit of being an original design. So if you want to check the Chestor out for yourselves, you'll find the link to Vescari Watch's website down in the description of this video. Don't forget to use code MAWC20 to knock 20% off the price if you do decide to make a purchase. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my affordable watch collection, and hit the notification bell for more affordable watches related content. You can also follow me on Instagram, where you can get to know me and my collection a little bit better, get all the news about the channel, and connect with me on a more personal level. Here is a quick link to my review of the previous version of the Chestor from a couple of years ago. Check it out next. It is still available for purchase at a lower price. I want to thank Vescari for sending this watch in for review, and to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.